The Edmonton Oilers and New York Rangers have linked up for 23 trades since the Oilers joined the NHL in 1979. A handful of those deals came around the same time during the early 1990s. The Oilers were selling off parts of their dynasty, and the Rangers were going all in to end a Stanley Cup drought that had been going on since 1940. In October of 1991, Edmonton sent Mark Messier and Jeff Beukeboom to New York in exchange for Bernie Nichols, Dave Shaw, Steve Rice, and Louis DeBrusque. That's a pretty underwhelming return for a player of Messier's caliber, but Oilers general manager Glen Sather made up for it in the coming years by swapping Esa Tikkanen for Doug Weight in 1993 and getting Todd Marchand in exchange for Craig McTavish in 1994. The Rangers wound up winning the Stanley Cup in 1994 with Messier as their captain. That team also featured 6 other former Oilers: Tikkanen, McTavish, Kevin Lowe, Glenn Anderson, Beukeboom, and Adam Graves. Interestingly enough, 2 key players on that cup-winning Rangers team were traded to the Oilers a few years later, and there's a very good chance that you won't be able to remember who they are. In 2000, Glen Sather left Edmonton to become the president and general manager of the Rangers. Sather and his successor, Kevin Lowe, unsurprisingly made a flurry of trades with each other early in the decade. In June of 2002, New York sent goaltender Mike Richter, who was the Rangers' all-time win leader at the time, to the Oilers for a 4th-round pick. Richter was an impending unrestricted free agent and re-signed with New York a few days later. As a result, the Oilers received a 3rd-round pick in the 2003 NHL draft as compensation. So essentially, the Oilers moved a 4th-round pick in one draft to get themselves a 3rd-round pick in the next draft. Edmonton used that 3rd-round pick on Mikhail Zhukov, a player who never played a game in the NHL. New York, meanwhile, used Edmonton's 4th-round pick on Corey Potter, who ironically wound up signing with the Oilers as a free agent in 2011. The next year, the Rangers sent 3-time Norris Trophy winning defenseman and future Hall of Famer Brian Leetch to the Oilers for goaltender Jussi Markkanen and a 4th-round pick. Just like with Richter, Leetch returned to the Rangers days later as a free agent, and the Oilers got themselves a compensatory draft pick, this time in the 2nd round. At the following year's trade deadline, the Oilers packaged up that compensatory draft pick along with 2 prospects and sent them to the Rangers in exchange for Markkanen and Peter Nedved. Nedved played well for the Oilers, scoring 15 points over 16 games, but the team narrowly missed out on making the playoffs. The Oilers would have received yet another compensatory draft pick for Nedved leaving in free agency, but that loophole was closed in the collective bargaining agreement that ended the 2004-05 lockout. This could reasonably be referred to as the Glen Sather rule. Beyond the Richter and Leetch deals that he made with the Oilers, Sather also traded Mark Messier to the San Jose Sharks in 2004 for a 4th-round pick so that San Jose could get themselves a higher draft pick as compensation. With that 4th-round pick, the Rangers selected future captain Ryan Callahan. NHL teams now receive no compensation when unrestricted free agents leave, so we unfortunately no longer see these instances of legendary players being traded to random teams for a few days.